me, Mario.
Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of my Japanese Super Mario 64 like vocab-y grammar explanation-y thingy. We'll see how it goes. Looks like we've got a lot of English on this page anyway, right, to start with, so we just got file selecto. Pretty self-explanatory, file select. Mario A, just Mario A, or file A, C, B, D, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. Score, just meaning score. Copy, meaning copy. Kesu, sort of like the only Japanese word on this page, which means to erase or to, delete. Kesu. And then stereo, which is your sound type, meaning stereo. Looks like we also have monoraru, or mono. What is it even? Monoraru. Mono rule. What's the English for this? I don't even know. Anyway, it's mono. It's kind of crazy that this is curving this way. Should definitely be curving the other way. Monoraru. And then headphone, meaning headphone. And up here we've got soundo selecto. So it's pretty stupid. We'll go with stereo. Yeah, that'll do. So enough of that. Boring page. Kind of wanted the jingle to end before I paused it. Yeah, so we got Oshiroe. Oshiro, or rather, Shiro is castle, isn't it? Shiro. It's most often used, I think, with the honorific Oshiro. So Oshiro, just meaning castle. E, just like a direction particle, isn't it? Just like towards or to. Asobi ni kite kudasai. So, asobu being to play or to have fun, to kind of amuse oneself, I suppose, or yeah, kind of have fun, I suppose, isn't it? Like come and enjoy yourself at the castle, sort of thing. And it's been conjugated to asobi ni kuru. Because it's like, come to play, basically, isn't it? Come to play, come to have fun, come to enjoy yourself. And then kite, making it into a request, and kudasai on the end, making it into a polite request. So asobi ni kite kudasai. And then keiki wo tsukutte mattemasu. Keiki just being cake. Tsukuru. Tsukuru is to make, isn't it? And then you use the te form to, in this case, just make it into a continuous form, basically, isn't it? It's like you've done that, and then you can just basically it allows the sentence to continue after it, doesn't it? Tsukutte mattemasu. And then matsu means, wait. Matte imasu means, wait, and then am, kind of like, it's like continuous, isn't it? I'm in the state of waiting. So we are waiting. Or I am waiting. And in this case, they've omitted the e in the middle. So rather than it being matte imasu, they've just cut it out because it's easier to say. Mattemasu. And then pichi yori. And then this yori is obviously just means from, used at the end of letters after your name to say who it's from. Pretty straightforward. shame there's no kanji in this, really. It's probably a good thing. I might actually... there'll be a text document for this whole playthrough, actually. So, you know, you can look in the description for the text document. I might try and put all of the... I might try and put a kanji version in as well. So yeah, if you want to sort of learn kanji, maybe that'd be useful for that. Anyway, so here we have warp, meaning warp. Warp dokan. Dokan is, well, this means like, this is of the ground, isn't it? This is like soil, floor, earth, ground, and then kan is tube, so it's just an earth tube. Obviously, you know, we've just come out from that pipe, and that's what this is. It's a warp pipe. Wo kuguri nuke. Kuguru is to dive into something, I suppose, or maybe to dive through something. Probably more specifically used for diving through something, I guess. And then nuku, or is this nuku or nukeru? I'm not sure what this is. It could be nuke without the ru on the end. Yeah, I think it's that, actually. I think it's more likely that. Yeah, I think it's that. Anyway, nukeru means to... What is nukeru? Kuguri nukeru. Nukeru means... I think it means to, like, omit and stuff, doesn't it? Obviously not in this case, but I suppose, you know, through that kind of vibe, it has... it means what it means in this case. Let's have a look here. Nukeru. Oh, well, oh yeah, to come out, of course. To come out, to fall out. Oh, to be omitted. There's the meaning that I was looking for. To be missing or to escape. So, yeah. So it's like, you know, you've just dived through and come out of the other end of the pipe sort of thing, isn't it? And then Pichi no oshiro ni tsukimashita. Pretty straightforward. Peach, and then this no, just linking the castle to Peach, just linking the nouns together. Peach castle ni tsukimashita. And tsuku means to arrive. Obviously this is just polite form, tsukimashita. So, and obviously past tense as well. So you arrived at Peach's castle. Excuse me. And then sosa wa kantan. So sosa just means like operation, or in this case, I suppose like controls. Like the manipulation. Operation, management, processing. Manipulating to one's benefit, to operate, to manipulate. So yeah, it's just controls in this case. Sosa wa kantan. Kantan just means simple, which is good. A botan ga jumpo. So the A button is jump. B botan de kogeki. They've gone with de in this one rather than ga. So this is like with the B button or through use of the B button, attack. Kogeki is, yeah, attack. Kanban mo yomemasu. Kanban is signs, like we've got here behind this text box here. Mo is an inclusive particle, isn't it? So it's like also, or yeah, also signs, and then yomemasu is the polite potential form of yomu, which means to read. So this is saying like can read, or you can also read signs, yeah, using those. Using B. Mario o ugokasu no wa mannaka ni tsuiteru 3D stick. So Mario is the object in this case. That's what this is, and it's like the object marker. This is the thing being manipulated in the sentence. So Mario wo ugokasu, so to move Mario. No wa, and this just makes it into like a nominalizer or whatever. So it's like moving Mario, the very middle stuck stick, 3D stick. So yeah, this is just like regarding moving Mario, and then kind of the the point of the explanation, or the important information of that regarding that, I suppose, comes after it. You often get this used with like reasons. In this case, it's being used to specify what controls Mario, but you often get this no wa thing, you know, saying, giving like a reason afterwards. So you might say like coming to Japan, and then was because I like sushi, or so, something stupid like that. I don't know. Man just meaning the very inside, or the very middle, the very center. Tsuiteru, that's tsuku, which means to like be attached, or to be stuck to something, I suppose. So tsuiteiru, they've missed out the e again, which is very common. So tsuiteru, so it is in the continuous state of being stuck in the middle. So tsuiteiru. Mannaka ni tsuiteru 3D stick. Pretty straightforward. That's English, isn't it? 3D stick. Mazu wa oshiro e susume. Mazu wa is just... Mazu is like first, isn't it? Like, yeah, first thing, the first thing to do, first. Oshiro e, towards the castle, susume. And this is the imperative form of susumu, which means to advance or proceed. So, yeah, susume, which we will do. I'm not going to read all these signs. I'm just going to do sort of the required text that comes up, like this guy. Konnichiwa. Just hello, isn't it? Pretty much say this from, like, about, I don't know, about 10:30 a.m. onwards. You can go with konnichiwa until evening. So it's kind of a daytime greeting, isn't it? Boku tachi kameraman no Jugemu brothers desu. So boku tachi, boku is like a, pretty modest way of referring to oneself. Modest way of saying I, usually for like young men. But if you feel like you should be modest in a certain situation, or whatever, or you don't want to sound crude or arrogant, say an ore, then boku is a good one. I've had like older men use boku when talking to me, sort of middle-aged-ish, sort of like maybe mid-50s, late 50s people say boku. When I was looking for a job, he opted to go with boku, I suppose, because he was sort of doing me a service by trying to help me find a job. So he, chose to use boku, which is quite interesting. Tachi kind of just makes it a pluralizer, doesn't it? Just rather than I, this is we, or us. Cameraman is cameraman, obviously not, just to link it to the next noun, or pronoun in this case. Jugemu brothers. So they're the Jugem brothers in Japanese, which is the Lakitu Bros, isn't it? But they're called Jugemu for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, des. Just got des at the end, don't you? Kind of polite-ish. Kore kara, so kore meaning, actually no, I'll read the sentence first. Kore kara kamera wo motte anata ni tsuite ikimasu. So, yeah, kore in this case meaning, like, well, kore usually means this, doesn't it? But in this case, it means kind of from now on. Kara is from, and kore is this. Kore kara. And it kind of means from this point on, or from now on. Yeah. Kamera wo motte. Motsu is to hold or to possess something. So they've gone with the te form because we're going to, the sentence continues afterwards. So they used the te form to make it able to continue on afterwards. So kamera wo motte, so we will take the camera. Anata ni tsuite ikimasu. And to you, I suppose, to you, we will... Tsuite ikimasu. I suppose, like, tsuite iku. Is this like stick to, kind of attached to, in the sense of, like, to follow you around? But it's not tsureru, is it? Tsuite iku. Oh, okay, apparently that's an entry on its own. Tsuite iku means to accompany or to follow. So that makes sense, yeah, to stick to and go sort of thing, follow you around. And it's the sort of, the polite form, tsuite ikimasu. You're welcome to, guys. Kamera wa osusume no ichi kara satsue shitemasu. Interesting. Okay, so kamera is camera, obviously. Osusume means like recommended, doesn't it? You can often use that in, well, to ask for recommendations. You can say like osusume arimasu ka, like, is there a recommendation? Or less literally, do you have any recommendations? So yeah, osusume is just recommended. No ichi, so again, just linking the nouns together. Ichi is like position or location. So recommended location, kara, recommended location from, satsue shitemasu. Satsue is to, like, to take film or to record video or to, yeah, to basically film things. It might also include taking photos, but I'm not actually too sure on that. Usually, you see it used with the capturing of video, so yeah, perhaps it's not used for photos as well, but it could be. I don't know. And then shitemasu. Again, they're missing the E out of this. Should be shiteimasu if you wanted to be really proper about it. And it's kind of funny that they're saying this, because it means that they're kind of, I suppose it has a kind of vibe that they are currently already doing this, rather than shimasu, which would mean, we will do that. Shitemasu is, we currently are. So, yeah, kind of interesting. Kind of different to English. And then, muki wo kaeru no wa shi botan. Kaerarenai toki wa bu to imasu. Muki. Muki is just direction, isn't it? Like muku is to face. Muku is a verb, which means to face a certain direction. And so muki, I guess, just makes it into a noun. So it's like the facing. So and in that sense, it's like the direction of the camera, the direction. Muki wo kaeru no wa. So again, we've got this no wa thing going on. Kaeru means to change. So change direction. Shi botan. Use the C button. Basically, there's no verb there. It just says changing the direction is the C button, I suppose. If you wanted to kind of match a similar wording to English. And then kaerarenai, which is this is the negative potential form of kaeru. So it's like cannot change. Cannot change toki is time, so at times when we are unable to change the direction. Bu to imasu. So boo is just the noise they're going to make. That's the buzz it makes, isn't it? It goes doo-doo, boo. And then to is the quotation particle, just making this into a, it's like, it's used with the verb say here. The verb for say is you, i-u, but in this case it's polite form, so it's imasu. And the to basically makes this bit quotable. So it's like, we will say boo, like literally we will say boo. So this is making this into the actual word that they're going to say. Otherwise, you can also use you with the object particle, but then it means, that then it's not a direct quote. So you could say, what's an example? You could say like sore wo you, or sore wo imasu, which means I will say that. And obviously you're not, in that case, you're not literally saying the word that to someone. You're just saying that, you will say the thing you've just been discussing to someone. Anyway, so that's kind of the difference between to and wo in this case. What's going on here? Okay. Chotto tachidomattara shi botan no ue. That's interesting. So chotto is just like a little. Tachidomaru means to stand and stop. Tachidomaru. Stand being tatsu, and tomaru meaning to stop. And, it's become sort of its own standalone word here. Tachi, so that you can, it's kind of a continuous form, sort of, to connect it to the next verb. Tachidomattara. Tachidomattara, this form can be potential. No, not potential, sorry. This form can be conditional. Or probably in this case, this means like when, or once you have done this, once you've sort of stopped, stood and stopped, sort of thing, once you've stood still. But also could be conditional. It could be like if you stand still, and then it's shi botan no ue. So the up, ue is up, and this just connects it to the C button. So C button up, or the C up button. So he's saying like if you, what's chotto do? I suppose chotto just kind of it might be, you could probably see it kind of as like filler. It's kind of filler in a way. Or it kind of softens the sentence in a way. It doesn't really have a proper meaning in this. It just kind of changes the vibe of the sentence, I think. Or maybe it does have a literal meaning. Maybe it's like if you stop and if you stand still for a second or for a little bit, it could mean that. But it also has those other nuances that I just explained. Mawari wo nagame raremasu. So mawari is kind of like it means your surroundings, doesn't it? It's the things around you. Mawaru is like to kind of go around and around, I suppose. And then mawari is like it's your surroundings, the things around you. Nagame raremasu. So this is the potential form of nagameru, which means to like look at something in a kind of a what's the word? In a kind of a observant way, I suppose. You're not just looking at something, you're kind of actually looking, you're watching it, you're kind of looking at and watching it, or staring at it, sort of thing. And so nagame raremasu is potential polite form saying you can look at your surroundings, basically. And then geimu ni modosu toki wa A botan desu. So game just meaning game. Ni, like that's a kind of that's the preposition, isn't it? Like to the game, basically, isn't it? Modosu toki. So modosu is to kind of put something back, or to make something go back, I suppose. To return, that's what I should say, isn't it? To return something. And then toki, again, is time. So sort of like at times, or when you want to, well, not want to, but when you return to the game. A botan desu. So, like, there's no verb here, but it's like use the A button. Or if you want to stick with the wording of the Japanese, it would be like times return to game A button. There's no verb really to what to do with the A button. It doesn't say use or anything or press. Then we've got aru botan wo tsukau to ironna camera mode ni kirikaeraremasu. So we've got lots of potential forms in this text from Lakitu. So aru botan is the R button. Wo tsukau, tsukau is use. To, and this is kind of a conditional. It's like if you use the R button. Although I suppose it can also mean when. So it can also be like when you use the R button. Ironna is means various, basically. Just means various or many kinds, various. There's also iroiro. But they're basically, I think they're pretty interchangeable. Probably ironna is kind of maybe a little bit less proper. But yeah, he's pretty casual, it seems, kind of. Although he is using polite language. Anyway, so like various camera mode. So that's just camera mode, isn't it? Ni kirikaeraremasu. Kirikaeru is to switch between. Very simply, just to switch between. And so kirikaeraremasu is you can switch between. So using the R button, you can switch between various camera modes. Mata, kanban nado o mite oboete kudasai. So mata, I suppose in this case, it's kind of like in addition, or maybe like also. Sometimes it means like again, or perhaps like as well. Maybe. But in this case, yeah, I think it's just like it's adding further information, or yeah, it's just adding information. So it's like in addition or also. Kanban was sign, which we discussed earlier. Nado is like etc. and things like the noun that we just mentioned. So kanban, etc., signs, etc. Wo mite. Miru is to look. And this is the te form, just because it's, we're continuing the sentence afterwards. Kanban nodo wo mite, oboete kudasai. Oboeru means to, like, kind of memorize, I suppose. Yeah, basically, yeah, it kind of just means memorize. And then it's te form, making it into like a light request sort of thing. And then kudasai kind of just politifies the request. So, please remember the signs and stuff. Memorize. Ijo. Ijo kind of just means like up to this point. Or like no more, no further sort of thing. And it's used often at the end of like yes, kind of speeches. Not speeches, a bit like reports, I suppose. Reports and things, and if you have something to say in front of a group of people, you might finish it with ijo desu, saying, like that's all I have to say. I have no more than this, no further than this, sort of thing. So that's what he's using here. And then we've got Kameraman Jugemu Burazazu kara no oshirase deshita. So yeah, cameraman Jugem Brothers kara, meaning from, no. And then this is just kind of, I suppose this is just essential to, yeah, I guess it's just essential to link this bit to a noun. You couldn't omit it. You couldn't have Kameraman Jugemu Brothers Kara Oshirase. Because then it just, yeah, I suppose it's just a bit incomplete. You just need to have no on the end to put this bit on the end here. Anyway, and then Oshirase. This is like a form of the word shiru, which means to know. And then shiraseru would be like the causative form, sort of like to make someone know something or to let someone know something. Probably a smoother translation, to let someone know. And then this is just a pretty common thing. You use the honorific oshirase. Just means it means like notice, doesn't it? Or yeah, a piece of information that you kind of need to know. Oshirase. And then deshita, the past form of like des, just saying this was or that was a notice or a report, I suppose, in a way, from the Jugen brothers or the cameraman Lakitu brothers. Yeah, and then soreja kiyotsukete. Soreja just meaning like sore de wa, shortened down into soreja, which is like with that, or having said all of that, or like yeah, having said all of that, it like has a finality to it. It's like that's the end of that. Yeah, and then kiyotsukete, like kind of like I suppose literally you'd kind of be like awareness or consciousness. Kiyotsukete. Awareness or consciousness. What's the word? I don't know. I can't think of a word for this, but yeah, it simply it means take care, doesn't it? Like be careful, and it means that in that it's like, you know, ensure you have consciousness, you know, kind of like, you know, ensure you have awareness, so be alert, kind of thing. Anyway, I should probably stop trying to translate some things. Okay, so we have yokoso, irashaimase. This just means welcome. Irashaimase is like a very polite kind of welcome, I suppose, that they use very often in, you know, well, pretty much always in like, you know, shops and stuff. If you go in somewhere, the staff will say irashaimase and all that. So it's kind of funny that he's saying that. It sounds a bit like a joke, actually. But yeah, very polite. And then dare mo imasen no de tottoto okaeri kudasai. Dare mo. So dare is like who, and then mo is just kind of an inclusive particle. So it's like who everyone kind of thing. So it means no one. There's no one here. Like who. Inclusive. Inclusive of who. Doesn't matter who you're talking about. Everyone isn't here, sort of thing. But it can only really mean no one if you use it with a negative verb. You can't have yeah, it won't mean no one, or it probably just won't make any sense at all if you don't use a negative verb with it. So he's saying no one's here. Imasen, the negative polite form of iru, which would be, you know, to be, to exist as a living being. And it's, yeah, this normal negative would be inai, but it's polite, so it's daremo imasen. There's no one here. No de, meaning so, basically. There's no one here, so. Tototao, which I guess is like, you know, quickly, immediately, hurriedly, hurry up and so and so, so and so. Yeah, tottoto, it's just like quickly, yeah. Okaeri kudasai. Again, kind of funny, sticking with the polite language here. Kaeru means to like go home, to return home. And we've put an honorific on it, okaeri kudasai, this is a common form. You'll have like an honorific, the like verb stem, and then kudasai afterwards. Okaeri kudasai. So hurry up and please go home. Return home, please. And then ga ha ha ha. Yeah, that's that. I think I might leave this one here because this is kind of maybe the boring first video where we just, do all the rubbish text at the start before we get into the game. So I think I might leave this here, and then I'll just do all of Bob and Battlefield in the next video. Yeah, and I think I'll divide it up into levels and just try and do all of the stuff, and I'll get all of the secret stars and do all of the essential text as we go. But yeah, that's that. Don't forget to if you want to check out the text document in the description. And obviously I'm open to suggestions on how I can make those a bit easier to read or to use or whatever, and also regarding the actual videos and content and whatever, just feedbacks will be appreciated. Yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching. Hope it was worth it and that, and see you in the next one.